Let's talk crochet. Hey folks, it's Mary, aka MercyTriumphs, and this is my channel Slow Crochet. This is episode 049, and today I am talking about all of my crocheted works in progress and any finished objects that I have completed in the past week. I love sharing it with you. I'm so glad to have a crochet community here on YouTube, so thank you for hanging out with me today. Before I get started, quick note, the hat on my head is the Crochet Seafarer's Cap by Beth Hall, and I did not make it precisely to specifications. It is quite a bit bigger. I think I followed someone's suggestions in Ravelry when I saw that their project was made, but it is one of my most cozy, fluffy, wonderful hats, and it is worked side to side, so it gives it a really nice stretch to it. This here is a scarf made from, I believe it's the rainforest, some kind of rainforest colorway of Red Heart Unforgettable, and this is a single crochet herringbone scarf. So I came across this stitch, I can't remember when, but it was so intriguing to me that I wanted to do an entire scarf out of it. This is one of those long projects that took quite a while, but I love how it turned out. And I love that beautiful rhythm of the stitches. So I made this scarf based on the Diana Herringbone shawl, which is a free pattern by Sylvia Koczysniska, I believe. But I thought you guys might be interested in what I was wearing before I got into the things that I have made this week. So what have I finished this week? Well, to begin with, I was working on a scarf, a corner-to-corner scarf that Crystal over at Bag O' Day had a tutorial for, and I finished it. And this is using Red Heart Roll With It tweed in the colorway Stormy Blues. So I actually had two of these rolls, and I'd already made one hat with them. So this was 2 partial cakes. I'm not sure exactly the yardage on it, but I think it did make a nice sized scarf. And this one is definitely gonna go to donations, although when my husband saw it, he really liked it, but he likes a lot of the things I make. It doesn't mean that he's gonna keep them. And to be fair, I like a lot of the things I make. It doesn't mean I'm gonna keep them either. I wanted to have a good kind of men's scarf that I could donate, and it would be easy care acrylic. So that is one completed. With the scarf, I am adding a hat. And so this one is just a basic double crochet beanie that I started with 10 in the center, and I got larger over time. And at some point I decided to go ahead and do some ribbing in front post and back post double crochet. And this is not gonna fit me at all. It's huge. But I thought it would be good for a man to be able to fold up if he wanted to make that brim, or if he had quite a bit larger of a head, that it would fit him however he liked, and if he had some hair to kind of fluff around, or if he liked the style. I don't know what's in style, I just wear what I like. But there is that hat. And so that was one that I didn't really use a pattern for, and that will go to donation with the scarf. So that's 2 completed objects. I have another completed hat, and several of you guys commented that Robin over at Hooked by Robin came out with a very similar scarf to this beanie that I've been making. I've been working with Scarfy Light, and I've been using Crystal's Slouchy Puff Stitch beanie. Now, I could not decide when enough was enough, so I kind of probably did a few extra than I needed to, but then again, when I have a big fluffy hairstyle, it fits nicely over that. So the heart of this was to have a hat that would go along with my cowl. So this is the Tunisian Simple Stitch cowl, and together, I think they're a really sweet pair. I love how the textures do play off each other. Obviously they're the same yarns, but it kind of creates some visual interest. And my thought is, if I'm wearing just like a black overcoat or something, you have these little pops of color and texture to kind of make the outfit slightly interesting. Sometimes it's hard to do with outerwear when you want your outerwear basics to be very basic, but then you can have so much fun with the accessories, which that is one of the joys of crocheting, and be able to make beautiful things that we can enjoy wearing and put some personality into our wardrobes or into the hands of others, and then they feel the love whenever they put on whatever we've made. there I am again. I'm waxing poetic about the joys and the philosophy of crochet. That beanie, I really went way off the pattern because Crystal was using a regular Scarfie yarn and I used Scarfie Light, so it's a different weight of yarn. This one is a 4-weight. Love how it turned out, and once I got into the rhythm, I was able to work it through and finish it off. Now I have this extra bit, so now what will I do with this? Maybe an ear warmer, maybe a smaller hat, who knows? But eventually I'll get to that. I do have one more finished, and that is a tried and true Divine hat. It might be kind of hard to see the stitches with this yarn. It is kind of a busy yarn, but I think it's quite effective. This yarn reminds me of the granite that's native to parts of the South, where the granite there is these beautiful shades of gray with just the tiniest flecks of pink in it. So I have a couple of skeins of this. It is I Love This Yarn print in the color Eddington Ridge, but I picked this up in the 2022 Hobby Lobby clearance. And again, I have 2 of these skeins. I want to make a lady's hat and scarf that I can donate. I Love This Yarn is a very easy care yarn, so whoever gets it is not going to have to worry about any kind of specialty care. So this was a great project that I could just put on autopilot when I was doing other things, and I was able to bang this one out. Y'all, I am excited about building back up some things to donate because that is one of the most beautiful parts of this season. So in between making the bigger pieces, maybe the more heritage pieces, the things that I really want to hang on to, I will be making more of these donatable items as well. All right, I'm going to talk about 2 works in progress now. One of them has been ongoing, and I think I'm in the home stretch here. The first one is my big old Christmas tree skirt. This is the Silent Night Christmas tree skirt by, I believe it's Barbara Anderson. And I've been featuring this in the podcast the last couple of weeks, but here I am. I'm done with the baubles. I need to do one more row of single crochet, and then I'm going to start in with the Christmas trees. The pattern has you create Christmas trees using cable stitches, and there will be 36 of them all around with a lot of single crochet in between. So I haven't escaped that yet. I will say this is a labor of love. I have counted to 40 and counted to 18 and counted to 40 and counted to 18, and every row there's different counts that are repeated. I have ripped out in the last just maybe 6 rows. I've ripped out 3 or 4 times, and it's been so disheartening. And I've even gotten to that point where your yarn gets into a great big snarl where the skein is so floppy, and then you're having to frog back. You're like, okay, I'll just turn this into a ball. And then it turned into an entire knot. So I'm not quite as far as I hoped I would be at this point. We do plan on putting up our Christmas tree on the day after Thanksgiving, so that should be this coming Friday by the time you're seeing this video. Almost done with this row here, but this purple marker is where I was at the end of last week when we last connected with each other. So it's not been bad. I have actually gotten some done, and I probably would have gotten more done without all that frogging, but the end is in sight. And so even if I don't make the deadline, it'll still be beautiful. It'll take some time to get some presents under that tree anyway. But for now, I'm going to press on with this and try to get it done as quickly as I can, taking plenty of breaks because, you know, that single crochet can be really repetitive, and double and triple checking my stitch counts all the way through. I think once I start the trees in there, I think that will really help with the stitch counts because it'll keep things tighter and more solidified. There will be 36 separate groups instead of groups of 6, as in like 6 baubles per row. So should be a lot simpler, and hopefully it'll just fly off the hook. There is one more project that I started this week, and it's a little bit unusual. I have learned that as much as I love to reinvent the wheel, and I certainly do, I reinvent the wheel quite a bit, but if I can not, if someone else has done it, it is worth going through the hassle to even tweak and modify what they've done just in order to save myself the grief of so much ripping out. So this is a project that I had in my head, and I was looking for free patterns and trying not to reinvent the wheel. And I did find a tutorial, but it's in Arabic. One morning this weekend, I was up earlier than anyone else in my family. I sat down with my headphones in. I don't know why I was listening to my headphones. I couldn't understand a word anyway. But I watched this tutorial, watching really closely, and it is for a houndstooth hat in the round. I will leave that tutorial linked below. 99% sure it's in Arabic. It might not be, I could be wrong on that, but I think I've made a pretty good success for not knowing the language. So in this tutorial, she goes on to do a beret, and for me, I wanted this to be more of a beanie. So at some point, I saw how she was continuing the increases, and I stopped and I started doing my own thing to keep it the right size. So here is my success so far. I still have quite a ways to go, but that is okay. This is 60 stitches in the round, and then at every round, you flip your work and do it the other way around. So you see on one side, the black is a little bit more dominant, and on the inside, the white is just a little bit more dominant. Not a huge difference, but enough that I notice it and enough that I want to continue in that same way. The goal with this is to have it done for December because I want to do a brim using the remainder of my Red Heart retro stripes. And so this will end up coordinating with my crazy neon Christmas sweater, and I'll be able to wear that in December to church when we go and help out with the kids and when we're just there to enjoy the service as well. In case you can't tell, our church is not super fancy. We are pretty casual, so a crocheted neon sweatshirt and a houndstooth beanie with a neon brim will be just fine. So this was my new start. I am enjoying it, and it's a little bit slow going, but it is something that I can work on in between the bigger Christmas tree skirt, and technically it is still a Christmas make. So that is all I have for this week. It's feeling good. Thank you so much for hanging out with me just for a little bit today as I've rambled on about the things that I've been working on, the things I'm excited about. I have a lot to look forward to as the Christmas season starts, as the last month of the year is in play, and I'm so thankful that y'all have been part of my year right now. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you to subscribers who are new and old. Thank you to so many friends that connect with me in the comments. I love hearing from y'all. I love connecting with you. You really do make my day. Y'all are beautiful, and it's such a profound blessing to be a part of your life. If I'm not your cup of tea, thank you so much for listening all the way this long. I really do appreciate it, and I do hope I'll see you again soon. Bye.